Aloha and good evening, everyone. Welcome again to another one of our outreach presentations for this month. We have one more to go, and we will be taking a break in June, so there won't be any outreach presentations throughout the month of June. However, the Caring Caregiver Show will be back live on Wednesdays at noon for resources for caregivers, and you can always go to our Facebook page or YouTube channel for more information on that or to view past episodes. But tonight's presentation is all about caregiver guilt. You may not think you have caregiver guilt, but you do, and you may be surprised in the types of guilt that you can have as a caregiver. And we all feel guilty for things in many ways, but understanding that will come with our presentation, Letting Go of Caregiver Guilt. So this is a summary for you this evening. I'm going to share screen, and welcome to all of you who have joined. There we go. Let's get started. By the way, I'm Savvy. I am the founder and CEO of Give Me a Break, and Give Me a Break is created. We founded Give Me a Break just so that we could care for caregivers, and that's what we do. We take care of you, we provide resources and information, and of course, education. So hopefully this presentation, Letting Go of Caregiver Guilt, will help you to get through some of the obstacles that you've had to deal with in your caregiving. So when you're caregiving, you're responsible for someone else's well-being, and it's easy to feel like you aren't doing enough. Anyone, of course, in this position who even is moderately compassionate or moderately, caring or even conscientious, still can have feelings of guilt. So consider a caregiver who's fully compassionate and fully into giving of their heart and putting themselves last, how much guilt you can amass in that kind of a personality. So what really is caregiver guilt? Well, being guilty is defined as having done something wrong. And that's really where the problem starts for us, because as children, we're taught that we have to feel guilty when we've done something bad or something wrong. And a caregiver often feels that way. Maybe we feel like, we're not doing everything correctly, or we're not doing the right thing, or not making the right decision. And there's really no manual for what we do. So that makes it even harder. So some of the things you might be feeling as a caregiver could be that you feel that maybe you don't spend enough time with the person you're caring for, your caree. You might feel guilty about that. Maybe you don't call or visit enough. There's guilt right there. You haven't made the person you're caring for happy. And that's a really big one. It seems that as caregivers, we want to make sure, the best example is parents. A parent just wants their child to be happy, and they are our first caregivers. Maybe everyone in your family is relying on you, and you just can never do enough to please everyone. And that includes the one you're caring for as well. And that's frustrating. It's a lot of guilt to carry. You're upset that maybe you didn't recognize the symptoms sooner. I know I felt that guilt. Maybe they wouldn't have suffered that stroke if you would have just been paying more attention. It's a lot to lay on one person, but we do feel that guilt. How about some of the stress? You carry a lot of that frustration and stress from caregiving, and you feel like, God, you could just lose it, right? Maybe you have lost it, and you feel guilty for that. You also might feel guilty for not being able to take time for something special for yourself. I remember when I was caring for my mom in her dementia, my biggest fear was that she would wander off. I don't know if you all watched the news, but recently out at Kapolei, there was an older gentleman who they still haven't found him, and he has dementia, and he wandered off. And that was my biggest fear with my mom, is that something like that would happen, and I didn't know if I could handle that. So I would turn down offers from friends to do things, or if I went, I would just go and then leave quickly and come back home, because I would feel guilty that something would happen while I was away. Can you relate to that guilt? A lot of us can. We sometimes, taking care of the one that we love becomes more of a dreaded obligation than an honorary position to be able to do something that we really don't feel bad about. But those guilt feelings can change that into something that we dread. Maybe there's things that change about the person we're caring for. My mother became a very different person with her dementia. I didn't recognize her anymore. She became angry and upset, and easily angered and easily upset. And maybe you've had to do what a lot of us have had to do, which is to put your caree in assisted living, a foster care, or nursing home. And you promised them you wouldn't. And I had to do that with my mother as well. So those are some of the things maybe you can relate to as a caregiver. You know, guilt is, and I love this picture, I hope you can see it on the presentation. It says, guilt is always hungry, don't let it consume you. So know that you have not done anything wrong. You have nothing to feel that guilt about, that you've been bad or you didn't do it right or you did it wrong. And know that you're not alone, that we all deal with these feelings as caregivers. We all go through that roller coaster of emotion that comes from those feelings of guilt. And it's just really part of our caregiving journey. It's just all part of the process that we're going to have. And boy, are we going to have to deal with some trauma when it's all said and done. But if you accept it now and embrace that, it could change the outcome for you as well. Also know that you're very normal. It's a normal emotion to feel guilt. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's just like grief. Grief and guilt are normal emotions, and you're perfectly in your right to have them. If you're really dealing with a difficult situation and you're doing the best you can, just don't be so hard on yourself and know that you are worthy. These are all words I wish I'd heard and things that I wish I'd heard when I was going through it, and I didn't. So I wanted to make sure that in my presentation and help you let go of your caregiver guilt, that you understand these things about all the wonderful things that you're doing as a caregiver. Knowing that you're not perfect is a tough thing, because as caregivers, sometimes, you know, we kind of get a little chip on our shoulder about doing everything right and being the best caregiver we can and proving to people that we can do it. And so we have to sometimes take our ego and put it to bed, because that's really not what it's about. No one's perfect, and that's okay. We embrace our imperfections. And especially now when, boy, those bar's been set so high, people say things like, you know, wow, this comes so easy for you. Oh, you're so good at taking care of them. You know, oh, I can see that mom is much happier now with you. You're so much better at it than I am. Have you heard some of those? Well, these statements can really help you build up some caregiver guilt. Boy, that just raises the bar of what you have to live up to, because now more than ever, you certainly don't want to fail, right? You don't want to do anything wrong. So these are the stumbling statements that can make us fall and fall deep into guilt. And these are what I call the stumbling stones. So we don't want to do that. We want to flip those stones over. We want to pick ourselves back up, and we want to turn them into stepping stones. We want to step on them and look for positive ways to embrace what we are doing right and what we are good at, and knowing that we're doing the best we can. And accepting the fact that it's okay not to be perfect. Yeah, I tried so hard to be perfect with my mom and do everything right, and it didn't matter in the end. So maybe sometimes don't be so hard on yourself, and just do the best you can with what you got. So statements that are stumbling stones, like the ones that I said, like, oh gosh, you're so good at it. You know, you're better than I am. And you can't really control what people perceive, and that's okay. So don't worry about taking them to heart. Just be honest with yourself and know what you yourself can do. And simply turn that stone over into a positive. So if somebody says something to you that makes you stumble a little bit and feel guilty, just think of all of the good things that you do, right? Think of all of the positive things that you are doing. Try to remember all of those, because we all have different talents and skills. Everyone's different, so everyone's going to caregive differently. Again, you're doing the best you can. So take steps in a positive direction. Here's something I had to learn the hard way. Stop being so controlling. Just control what's yours to control. And letting go of caregiver guilt is recognizing all of the positive things. So don't worry about controlling everything. Don't worry if everything doesn't come out perfectly. So what? If my mom woke up and has 3 sets of pajamas on and her earring is only on one ear and the other ones, the shoes don't match, so what? She got dressed by herself. I'm going to be very positive about that. And I'm going to have fun redressing her. So remember all the thousands of times that you did the right thing. You did show love and patience, and you did your best. And don't dwell on all of the negative things, because those are going to exist no matter what. Things are going to happen no matter what. You can't change that. We're all imperfect, and imperfect situations are going to come around. So take it one step at a time. Each time a negative happens, follow it up with a positive thought, a positive memory. Remember something good you did and hang on to that. And that way, you're letting that guilt go. You're not even letting it come to you, and whatever guilt you may have, you're going to start to release that. Because in all honesty, feeling guilty accomplishes nothing. It's like worry. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve the problem. It just causes a greater problem to you and your internal organs. So just let it go. And so I want you to take a deep breath with me. And you're going to breathe in through your nose, and then we're going to breathe out through our mouth. And when you breathe in through your nose, I want you to think about taking in all the wonderful, positive things. And when you breathe out through your mouth, you're going to let all that guilt and negativity and all of that frustration go. So let's try it together. Breathe in through your nose, hold it, and release. One more time, in through your nose, positive, hold it, and release the negative. Last one, in through your nose, hold it, and release. Doesn't that feel great? I think you should try to do that. I know that helped me a lot, especially when I got really just hurt and frustrated and tired, and taking those deep breaths will help you immensely. So make time to do that through your day. And then those times when you just can't seem to let it go, release it in a breath. Breathing is one of the greatest things we can do for ourselves. And once you let it go, we're releasing all that negativity. So we need to fill ourselves with positivity. So fill yourself with acceptance. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the negativity. Breathe in acceptance and breathe in positivity. And accept that you can't always do everything right. And that's okay. Accept that you might not always make your carrie happy. And that's okay too. Accept that you're going to get angry. You're probably going to have some yelling matches, but that's okay. Now here's one that's a real tough one. Accept that you wish they would just go already. That's okay. You're going to feel that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's natural. So breathe that negativity out and breathe the positivity back in. Accept that they may not always be the person that they once were, because as we age, we will change. I am nothing like what I was in my 20s. Boy, I was just like they used to call me the ever-ready bunny. Now, I got to change my batteries a couple times a day. You start to age and things are different and your attitude changes, and so does your personality. So just accept it and understand that it's okay. Take a breath and embrace you. Embrace the fact that you can be positive, that you can take all the great parts of this journey and you can make it yours. One of our volunteers, and this is what I call the Darren effect, was that all we have to do is change one word. So instead of saying, I have to take care of someone, we say, I get to. And that's the difference between negative and positive. So instead of I have to, do this or take care of this. I get to, because in all honesty, there will be a time when you won't. Like now, I don't have my mother here. So I enjoy the memories that we do have. I get to have those memories. Enjoy the moments while you can and accept all of the good and understand that guilt is really very normal and it's a process and that you didn't do anything wrong. So I hope that helps you to let go in some ways of some of the guilt that you're holding and accepting your worth. And then really, these are the first steps to bringing back the joy of caregiving, which is what Give Me a Break is all about. We talk about these in our support sessions all the time. We talk about being able to enjoy the journey and have joy in what you do as a caregiver. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I hope it helps you. Next week will be the last of our outreach for a few months, and that will be finding your purpose. So once you kind of let go of caregiver guilt and you're accepting all of the good things, then you really need some guidance, and it's good to set some goals for yourself and find out who you are again. So I'll be talking about discovering you and finding your purpose next week, Wednesday from 8 to it might be till 9 because it goes a little longer than these half-hour sessions. So plan on that, but I'll try to keep it within at least 30 to 40 minutes. And just know that we do have our support sessions. Give Me a Break is here for caregivers. So join our weekly support sessions. And you can go to gab808.org to find out what time those are, or you can just go to our site, scroll down the page till you see the button and click on it, and it'll take you right to our Zoom where you can actually just join the session. As you're on our website, you'll see that we currently have a monthly giver campaign going on. We're asking for everyone's help. You can become a $10 a month donor, and that $10 a month will help a caregiver to regain their wellness. They'll get self-care and coaching, as well as they'll receive trusted resources and support and be part of a caring community. And the benefit to you is that you'll get a 1-year subscription to our Giver's Guides magazine, as well as VIP access and presentations and events throughout the year, and a special wellness gift throughout the year. 4 times a year, you'll get a nice wellness gift that'll come directly to you. So be a donor, help us to keep going. And that's $10 a month. That's as much as you might spend on Starbucks for the month, or not even for a day. So anything you can do to help us, gab808.org is greatly appreciated. And of course, you get that subscription, like I said, to Giver's Guides. This is the June issue, which we'll be releasing in about a week. So if you haven't gotten your subscription to that, please do. And that's giversguides.com. And Giver's Guides does sponsor just about everything that Give Me a Break does, and also all profits go to Give Me a Break. So thank you so much for tuning in this evening. If you do want to see a rebroadcast of this presentation, or you know somebody who couldn't make it and missed it, it will be available on our YouTube channel in about a week. All the other presentations we've been doing up to this point are currently on our YouTube channel. And so just go to YouTube and go to @GiveMeABreak808. And you'll see all of the recorded sessions, and you can watch them at your own pace and time. Of course, we do ask please to subscribe, follow us, and subscribe to our channel. The more subscribers we have, the more reach we have, and the more caregivers we can help. I hope this helped you, and I thank you so much for joining us and being here this evening. Let me just stop. There we go. So thank you so much, and I appreciate your presence and coming to us. And I hope that Give Me a Break is here to help you. I hope you've been helped by it. Thank you and aloha.